Okay, it's been 1 week since we have harvested the garlic, and as you can see, 3 of the rows we have prepped back, put hay on, and we are now prepping those for our summer crops. The rest of the rows, as soon as they're done with their crops, we are going to just have that go fallow for the rest of the year. We have some watermelon that are gonna come in here and invade this space. But other than that, we're just gonna let it go native. The Parisian Star garlic is still in the ground, and so it'll probably be about another week or so before it's ready. The onions are starting to flop over, so we have to figure out what to do with them. And we're starting to harvest some of the carrots and the beets, and the potatoes look like they're starting to be ready. So that's real quick on that. And 2 days after we finished with the garlic, it started raining, and we've had about 2 inches of rain this week, which for total hasn't been a whole lot, but what it has done is the buckwheat has started coming up. And of course, this area is not a good buckwheat area. But let me see if I can zoom in real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, there's some buckwheat there. Yeah, so the buckwheat is more the broad leaf. So you can see some there. There's weeds growing in here, the starting to weeds. Plus there is peanuts that are left over from last year that are growing. And so, actually, hold on, I'll show you a better buckwheat. The chicken tractor area started getting a little unruly, so I told the sisters they had to go in here and do some work. So ML and Roadrunner right now have taken the task up, and so we're actually letting them out in the daytime. And believe it or not, they're actually smart enough to stay out of the sun, pretty much. But ML is our trooper right there. She's the one, she's our good digger. So she will, she's like the first one out and the last one back in. And she will dig to her heart's content. So, all right, here's some buckwheat here. That's not, I don't have it zoomed in right now. So this is the biggest that we have. And so there it is. There you go. So that's what the big buckwheat looks like. And it looks like there's more buckwheat on the western part of the field than there is on the eastern part of the field for some reason. But since we broadcast spread it instead of drilled it, we know that we're going to get a lesser percentage of it actually coming up. And all this has nothing to do with garlic, but I figured since I was talking about stuff, I will talk about that real quick. So let me go in the greenhouse and we can actually talk about garlic. Okay, here we are, and we have the shade cloths that we put in to help protect from the morning and evening sun. So like in the middle of the day right now, so like it's 3 o'clock, as you can see, that is where the sun is, so it's not hitting anything. So we just have the shade cloth open. There's a good breeze today, so we have really good ventilation in here. And so when it gets to be about 5 o'clock or so, I will shut I'll pull the east side down to protect the south side from getting sun on it. But here are the bulbs and here are the stalks. And so I wanted to show particularly my aunt what all this is looking like. Now it's been very rainy this week, so it's been kind of humid in here, especially in the morning. But like right now, it's not that bad. So let me just pick up one of these. All right, so this obviously is a good garlic bulb right there. And so that's what the actual stalk looks like right now. What I've been doing is I've been turning these, a third of these every day. So like today I turned the north part, which is this part right here. Tomorrow I will turn this. Then the next day I'll turn this, and then it'll just cycle over again. I have this piece of wood right here to remind me which one I need to turn and what direction I need to turn. So tomorrow, since the piece of wood is here, I will just take these and then turn them to the right. And so after I turn everything to the right, then I'll come back and turn them to the left. And so far, there's only been one garlic, which is down here. This one here originally was getting kind of squishy. And so I removed it out of the main area and put it by itself to have it dry out. And so far it's been doing very well. But it's like right now, temperatures outside is like 76, 78 right now. And the temperature in here is like 85. But the humidity in here is fairly low. It's in like the upper to mid 30s in humidity. And so if you look at these, they're not wet at all. And so these are the ones I turned this morning. And so the outside of these are starting to turn to paper a little bit. And so, like I said, I'm just showing these mainly for my aunt, so then she can tell me about when she thinks these things are going to be ready. One thing I have been noticing, because I turn these in the morning as my morning routine. I get up at 7 and then I come out and I give the sisters their breakfast, which is the fodder. And so when I'm done with that, then I come over here and I turn the garlic, because I don't want to do this in the afternoon when it's potentially like 90 degrees in here. I'd rather do it in the morning when it's cooler. But some of the stalks are kind of moist in the morning, but I'm feeling them now since it's mid-afternoon. And they don't feel moist right now. So I figured it just, where we are, the humidity, I would say 90% of the time will get to almost 100% in the morning. Very occasionally will it get less than 90% in the morning. And that's just the way it is around here. And so that's just one of the negative aspects. We hope when we get a greenhouse in the future, a permanent greenhouse, that we can control the humidity a little better with that. But for now, this is what we have. But I just wanted to show what everything is right now, and to show after 1 week. July 4th weekend will be 6 weeks. So I don't know if it's actually going to take that long. But don't get me wrong, they're not ready yet. I know they're not ready yet, because when I feel these, they're still I can feel the firmness at the stalks. So I know they're not ready yet, but I don't know if they're going to take 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks. I know last year we had them for 6 weeks and there was something wrong with them. Of course, we had a different environment, and they ended up some of them started molding on us. But this is completely different environment. This environment is infinitely better than it was last year. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm hoping with the heat of the greenhouse and with the lower humidity than outside ambient humidity, that they'll be able to cure better than they did last year. So anyway, that's all the green garlic right there. And so I just wanted to give an update on the garlic. So one last look on the garlic. And so these racks ended up working very well, and they did not end up bowing at all. And if anybody is curious, because I was, all of this on the top rack here was what I call was our full-size pretty garlic. So like this one here has a really good sized garlic, and it did not break open or anything. So definitely cloved out, definitely a pretty garlic, pretty for selling. And pretty much every 8 inches in width, I averaged out about 9 garlic, because I wanted to see how many garlic I would get on one of these rows to extrapolate if all of this was big pretty garlic, how much space I would need for 6,000 garlic. Because I had a sneaky suspicion this was going to be way too small, even if we threw out all of this stuff and put in another rack in the, and I was correct. We would pretty much have to have another greenhouse with this same setup in order to cure 6,000 of these big bulbs. And so but that will be probably, considering what this year goes, that'll probably be at least 2 years from now before we're going to get up to 6,000 bulbs. So that's hopefully, a future me problem of a couple years from now. So anyway, just wanted to give a garden update. Now the hay, if anybody was interested, this hay is not fresh hay. That hay is about 5 years old. Normally you don't put hay down for mulch, because hay, unlike straw, the hay typically will have seeds in it of whatever the grass is that you have for the hay, and then that will start growing in your garden. But after this long, all of that part of the hay, those seeds aren't viable anymore, so you can use it as mulch. And we still had 16 bags or bales of hay left, so I figured instead of buying a bunch of straw, we already have the hay, so we'll just go ahead and use the hay. And our compost has officially stalled out on us. We're trying to figure out if it's a carbon to nitrogen ratio problem or what. And so Clemson, who's the agricultural school in our state, you can do a compost test in order to determine what the problems of the compost is. So we were going to do that to a couple of the piles, just to see if we can get these kick-started again. Unfortunately, with those piles, they've been not active long enough that they have to get started completely over again, which kind of sucks. But on the plus side, this is the farthest by far I've ever gotten with compost before, so I guess baby steps. I just hope that we have enough compost ready by the end of September when we start planting garlic, that we can actually start putting that into the garden like I want to. So now I'm going to start weed burning, so hopefully I can start killing the weeds inside of our driveway area. So hopefully I can have success with that.